and you can just play with the colours.
Damn.
And that actually looks pretty cool.
Dude, for the money. It's kind of cool.
It's better than I was expecting.
Look, I really like it. That's pretty cool. So I'm just setting up this table to get some pictures before we start the full project, I suppose. I'm fitting all this stuff to the 335. And I found something that I forgot I ordered. Now, I ordered these on Christmas Day when I was a little bit tipsy. And it's an ambient light kit, and it was the cheapest thing in the world. And I thought I'd just give it a crack, and it might help modernise my E92 a bit. But when I arrived, I sort of lost interest. And I figured if I don't fit it now, it's never going to get fitted. So that's what this video is. Let's see if we can install them. Better get Dave's help, actually.
Nice.
Dave, are you ready to fit some ricery stuff to my vehicle?
Ricery? I don't know what you mean. I think that's going to look, it's going to look just like
a Mercedes E-Class.
Just like the Mercedes on the front cover.
All right, so we haven't actually taken anything apart in the car. We're going to put the fibre optic lines in place on the door card and also where they're going to sit on the dash, and just make sure it looks okay before we spend 2 hours doing it. And one thing I have worked out, obviously to get them into the doors, they've got to go through that little rubber piece, which this is going to be too big to feed through, actually this piece in the door. This little thing here. And yeah, the big metal heat sinks they have around the LEDs won't go through, but we'll be able to cut the wires and just rejoin them once they're through the door. So that's one hiccup sorted. The rest is just where we mount them and how they look. So let's get test fitting it and see what it looks like. Let's do it. Okay, so that is the door one. That's about where it's going to sit. It looks, it's very green. It is very good. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. Obviously we can change the colour because they are RGB. Okay, I'm alright with that. So we'll try it on the dash next. And that's where it's going to sit across the dash. That sort of looks very ricery.
Well, some say ricer, some say new AMG. Same.
At least you do get a little bit of actual accent lighting coming off the silver on this part. It's just dark on the doors.
The glow.
I really should change it to red so it matches everything. And I think we can change the brightness as well, so it should all work.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay.
Should we start taking the car apart?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it.
First step is to get the car apart so we can actually hide all the wires and make it look semi-factory. The doors, getting the wires into the doors and hidden to come up to where we're going to run the lights is probably going to be one of the hardest parts. So we'll start by pulling the door card off. On these, it's actually not too bad. You've just got to remove this trim piece here, and then behind there's a few Torx bits, and then the door card should pop straight off.
All right, so got the door card out, and we've worked out a bit of a plan how we're going to mount the kit up. So these actually have a factory ambient light in there, but it's so dim and it runs along that piece there. Now initially I was going to tuck it under there, which you've shown before, but we are going to go along the top. Now to get the fibre optics to the part where we can see it, I'm going to drill on an angle, and this part here is actually covered up, so it'll go on an angle, and that should allow us to poke the fibre optic through here without putting a kink in it. And I don't know if you guys know, but if you do kink this, it'll crack and then it won't transmit the light properly. So we'll have it on a gentle angle coming down, and then I'll be able to mount the LED around here somewhere. That's the plan. Let's get on with it. Just in case we haven't shown it before, the kit comes with this trim. Could you call it trim? But it's basically to use it to hold the fibre optic piece. So we slide that in there, and then you can wedge this piece in the gap. So this is now all mounted up how it's going to be in there. That's quite tight fit. And yeah, you can't really tell it's there unless you're looking for it. And we have it coming through this side, ready to be tucked down. and then we can just trim off that excess once it's all mounted up and fitted all right. Now the tricky part, well, hopefully it's not too tricky. We have obviously got to get the power wire fed through here. So let's crack on with that. I'm going to take this trim piece off, this off. We'll work out how that's going to go. Okay, so what we're going to do, I've got a little hole there which was a clip, and I know this is bodgy, but I'm going to bodge it because I haven't got the time to take the footwell control module off. But basically you've got to feed the wire up through the rubber snake, through the hole in the side of the car, and then through this one here. Now I'm going to pull it through using a large cable tie. So it's just a matter of getting this through all the plugs first, which we can do with a little bit of persuasion. We've got the cable tie through there. Okay, so I'm just going to feed this through here first and get it out the door part. Obviously when you're doing this feeding, you've got to make sure you don't, it's not going to go anywhere near the window reg. Now once I've got all this through, I'm going to slice this and mount it properly. So I'm just going to tape it to the cable tie to get it through the first little black piece. I have not. Do you know what these are called? These rubber things?
Grommet sausage.
A grommet sausage.
I believe that's the technical term.
I have no idea they were called grommet sausages.
Could be sausage grommet. I could be wrong.
So that's it through the first part. Pull that off. And then we'll try and get the cable tie through here. Put that through there. And have a bit of tape again. Cool. That's just going to come through super easy. This one. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said it. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, that's through there. Now, unfortunately, in my haste, I didn't leave much slack. But that should be just enough. We'll make it enough because I can extend it the other way. All right, now from this point, I'm going to solder the other connector, well, solder this black wire back onto the main harness.
Cool. Okay, a bit of an update because we got carried away and there was soldering and feeding lots of wires through everywhere. But as you can see, lots of trim is already back together and it's starting to look, I think, pretty cool. Okay, so I can't remember where we got to in the video. it's also nearly, well, it's 10 o'clock at night as well, so it's been a big day. But basically, there is an LED, so on the video you should have seen Andrew feeding the wire through that grommet there, through the tube. There is an LED just inside the door there, which then hits this optical cable, and it actually just wedged in there nicely, so that fits across there. And there is only that one light source, which out here, it kind of looks a bit dim towards the end, but we're under pretty bright LED lights. So as soon as you shut that door and it's in the car,
come shout from this side. You shut the door and bring it.
Shut the door, yeah. Do it properly. Boom. There you go.
Pardon me.
I'm really surprised with how that turned out.
It almost looks like it does on the box. Almost. Which I wasn't expecting. Yeah, it's all been pretty easy. At the moment, it's just connected into some 12-volt sockets that I installed to charge phones in the glove box. I haven't worked out what power source I want to connect them to. Like, do we want them to come on with the headlights? Do you want it to just come on whenever the ignition's on?
Yeah, well, that's what the factory cars are like, aren't they?
I think I'll decide on the power source when I get to see it in full daylight tomorrow.
Yeah, see how it runs under the sunlight. For the brain of the unit is just tucked up under the dash here, and then yeah, that's where it feeds off to all the LEDs. For this big long center section that runs across the actual center dashboard, we've actually wired up an LED in both ends, which these E92s have a little access panel in the side of the dash here, which was awesome. That made life easier. So the fiber optic cable just runs inside the dash through these panels, one on each end, and then yeah, that's where the LEDs are.
The only thing that's a bit naff is you do get two hot spots where we kink the beam. So we might try and make something that just sort of covers it up a little bit, and then it will look like proper accent lighting.
I'll tell you what though, after you stop looking
At that hot spot?
yeah, it becomes way less noticeable.
True.
So I reckon just see how it goes and see if anybody else picks up on it when they're actually in the car and looking.
I better get my app, because this is all RGB app controlled.
Yeah, forget that.
Actually, I'll shut this door. I still haven't put this trim back on, but...
Just close enough. Actually, do you want to grab that light too?
Oh my god, it's so freaking bright. Okay, turn that off.
Got keys, we're good. Just not sure if that door's locked. It's not. Okay, so... Film this. So we've got the app, and it's called Lotus Lantern, which is just what you want for your car. And if we go off, it doesn't work. Oh, okay, maybe it's just a bit of a delay. There we go. Now it's connected.
Cool.
The Bluetooth hadn't connected.
So with it fully off, it actually doesn't look too bad either. It kind of looks...
No, you can see it in this light, but again, we've got a lot of very bright lights on the roof. You can't really tell much on the inside.
True.
But yeah.
And you can just play with the colours.
Damn.
And that actually looks pretty cool. I thought blue was silly.
Yeah, because there's so much other red ambient lighting in there, like all the buttons and that are red. It might be different when everything's actually on, but...
That suits you. I think
Pink.
I think you should run pink, yeah.
Thanks, Dave. All right, appreciate it. Yeah, I'll have a bit of a play with it. I'm not sure if I like it going under the iDrive.
I don't mind it because, I don't know, it just works.
It kind of does. Might position it a bit. Anyway.
Admittedly, even if you don't want it running under the iDrive, because we've got LEDs at each end, you could finish it just there, couldn't you? And it would still illuminate both ways.
Absolutely. Something I just want to say, this was, it was a cheap kit. I can't remember if I got it from Amazon or eBay. I have to find out where we got it from. But there was a couple of people that complained about the cheap kits, saying they're not very good and you should buy the $100 US ones. And all I think that's happened, the guys that have installed the cheap ones, they've kinked the fibre optic. And if you do kink it, obviously the light can't pass through.
It's just like a little fracture in the tube, and it just dulls the brightness down a little bit as it passes through.
Well, yeah, and I guess even on those sharp bits where we've kinked it, maybe that's what's happening there. But it's not a problem because it's sort of at the end of the runs. But, dude, for the money, it's kind of cool.
It's better than I was expecting, I must admit. I thought it was just going to look very... as an afterthought, very aftermarket.
I'm not ricery, although this car's just gone to pot with the silly orange wheels. Maybe I should make it match the wheels. There we go.
Orange, there you go.
Look, I really like it. That's pretty cool. It was a bit of a pain in the ass to install. How long has that taken us? 4 hours.
Yeah. We got carried away.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, so not an install that you're going to do in 2 minutes, guys, but definitely worth trying. I might. Oh, I don't know. I'm thinking about changing the footwell lights to match. Because you can get RGB ones of them. Food for thought. Anyway, I'll keep playing with my silly little car.
If somebody is convinced and wants to put it in their car, any pointers?
No. Just what we said about snipping the wire to get the LED through into the door. That was pretty easy. And just take your time.
I'd say
the hardest part is the door.
Yeah, I'd say particularly because I'm working on your car, I'm trying to be extra careful not to damage anything. And I've got to say those proper trim removal tools, definitely worth it if you haven't got them. Breaking clips and that sort of stuff. Yeah,
I was actually struggling with a flat screwdriver and then I remembered that we bought those recently. Hang on, what have we got here? 7 colour jumping.
Disco.
That is horrific, and I won't ever run that. But it has got all these options.
It's actually quite comprehensive app.
Change the speed, the brightness.
Considering the price of this thing.
Can bounce to music. Oh, let's do what? Oh, maybe. Oh, it plays music. That is terrible.
You don't need Spotify with this app. You just run the.
Wow. It's all licensed music, I'm sure. Anyway, look, I think that's where I'm going to leave it. That's going to match. Actually, I'll turn the headlights on, and then we'll get all the standard color lights in there. There we go. They sort of matching.
Yeah. It's a little bit too bright. Try a little bit darker.
Dim it down a bit. Oh, you mean
the color? Yeah, sorry.
Got a match. All right. This video is probably actually. I don't know how we'll edit this. Might not do a full install. We'll trim it down. I think that's it. We'll spin it round. Look, thank you very much for watching, everyone.
And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.